Should we be more worried that one of the attackers one of the supposed attackers in the Moscow terrorist event was a humble barber from Tajikistan, or should we be more worried that the FSB head Alexander Bortnikov has said that he believes that Ukraine and now the US and indeed Britain are ultimately behind the atrocity? All the four suspects in captivity, all tortured, all brought in various states of decay, with ears lost, with eyes punched out, with a catheter attached on a gurney, in a wheelchair, barely conscious. Various one of them, Mirzoyev, had been living in Russia illegally. He had a black eye and a bruised face. Another one was unemployed, registered as a resident in Russia, but he couldn't remember in what city, according to the newspaper reports. Very strange. Fariduni appeared to have been registered in Krasnogorsk, in the Moscow suburb where the events took place, and he worked in a flooring factory. But it is absolutely clear that they have been tortured. Whether they've been radicalized and whether they joined ISKP or what, who knows? And ISKP was founded by members of the Pakistani Taliban and has spread into Central Asia, into places like Tajikistan. And these migrants, them being wheeled and pulled into court on public television, it will stir up a wave of racism, anti-immigrant fervor, and I suppose Putin and the little group, the large group that surrounds Putin, will hope that can be further embellished with reference to the US, the UK, and Ukraine. This is less about xenophobia, which I think is something which is under the surface and can very easily be stirred up, and far more about providing an excuse for ramping up the attacks on Ukraine and the rhetoric, because there isn't a way back for Putin at this point. There isn't a way back, and I think this is a mistake that we have made, that we have given Putin no retreat. And I think it's always important to give the foolish leader who is doing stupid things an opportunity to pull back. The same problem is also being seen with Netanyahu. There isn't an obvious way for him to retreat. The threats of taking him to the Hague and putting him on trial for war crimes means that he is going to dig in. And rather like the mafia boss, I don't think you threaten what you're going to do. You just do it. And the threats are not a worthwhile weapon, and we shouldn't be making threats. The threats are silly. And I'm afraid also, I think the sanctions, the larger sanctions, are foolish because they alienate the diplomats. They stop us having a productive conversation behind the scenes with the Kremlin to see if there's a way forward, to see if there's a way to pull back from the brink of this monumental disaster.